Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Guys, in a bold move shaking up the pharmaceutical world, President Trump has signed an executive order promising to slash prescription drug prices for Americans by up to 80% in what he is calling one of the most consequential executive orders in American history. President Donald Trump has just announced a sweeping plan to cut the cost of prescription drugs for millions of Americans by as much as 30 to 80%. That's shocking, right? So, a massive price drop that could affect almost immediately, and at the heart of it all is a bold promise to end what Trump calls decades of injustice in America's healthcare system, where ordinary citizens have footed the bill while pharmaceutical giants raked in billions. This is not just about the medication, this is about the fairness, leverage, and America reclaiming control over a system that for far too long many has been rigged against the very people who need it most. On May 11, 2025, in a post on his Truth Social account, President Trump declared, "Tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m., I will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30% to 80%. This will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and, for the first time in many years, bring fairness to America." So, guys, let's break it down. What exactly is this executive order and how does it promise to lower drug prices so dramatically? The cornerstone of the order is a policy known as the Most Favored Nation Pricing Rule. Under this rule, the United States would no longer be paying whatever price the pharmaceutical industry demands. Instead, the US will pay no more than the lowest price that any other developed nation is paying for the same drug. That means if a drug manufacturer says sell some medication to Canada, France, or Germany at a discounted rate, they would be required to offer that same low price to the US consumers as well under Medicare Part B. No more price gouging, no more premiums simply for being American. And make no mistake, isn't some hypothetical condition. Trump says this will affect prices immediately, especially for those under Medicare Part B, the federal health plan that covers the outpatient services, doctor visits, and certain drugs administered in a clinical setting. It's a worth noting point just how massive this change could be. According to 2024 report by the Department of Health and Human Services, Americans are paying more, much more for prescription drugs than anyone else in the developed world. In fact, some medications cost Americans 5 times what patients in the other countries are paying. Why? Because the United States has traditionally allowed pharmaceutical companies to set their own prices without government regulation or any negotiation. And they have used that freedom to recoup R&D costs that Trump says were unfairly dumped on the American citizens alone. The pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development cost, and all that of this cost were borne by the suckers of America alone, Trump said in his post. It's a sharp rebuke of the pharmaceutical lobby and also a direct challenge to the influence of campaign contributions, which Trump hinted that had brought silence and inaction from both parties for the years. "Campaign contributions can do wonders," he wrote, "but not with me, and not with the Republican Party. We are going to do the right thing, something that the Democrats have fought for many years." Interestingly, this isn't Trump's the first attempt at taking on the Big Pharma. Also, in 2020, during his first term, Trump introduced a nearly identical proposal, a 7-year pilot program estimated to save nearly $88 billion for the federal government, state budgets, and Medicare recipients. But that plan was stalled in the courts, blocked by 4 lawsuits and a preliminary injunction that prevented it from taking effect. Now, with the Trump back in the White House in 2025, he is not just reviving that idea, he is pushing it forward with the more force, clear intent, and a climate that may be more receptive than to action. Even some bipartisan lawmakers are now echoing the same sentiment. Just days before the Trump's announcement, Senators Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, and a Peter Welch, a Democrat from Vermont, introduced legislation aimed at capping drug prices using a similar model. Their bill would prohibit pharmaceutical companies from charging US patients more than the average prices across six peer nations, that is, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, and UK. And the penalty is a massive fine, 10 times the price difference for every unit sold at inflated rates. It's a rare moment of agreement in a polarized Washington, and it shows just how deep and dive the frustration runs with the current pharmaceutical pricing model. What does this for means for everyday Americans? The implications of this order are staggering. For seniors on fixed incomes, for families struggling to afford insulin or cancer medication, this executive action could mean real and life-altering savings. And for Medicare Part B recipients, the change would be immediate. Of course, critics argue the policy could face the same legal and lobbying challenges that killed the 2020 version. Big Pharma is also not known for backing down without a fight, but Trump seems ready for that battle, and this time he may have more political and public backing than ever before. As prescription drugs cost become a central issue in 2025 election season, expect this executive order to dominate headlines and possibly become a turning point in how the healthcare is handled in the United States. So, guys, whether you support Trump or not, the truth is undeniable. Americans pay more for medication than anyone else in the developed world. And this executive order could be first real move in the decades to change that. Now the question is, will it hold? Will it survive legal challenges? And most importantly, will it deliver the savings Trump has promised? Only time will tell us these questions. But for now, millions of Americans are may finally be looking at the real possibility of paying less, much less for the medicine they need. And in today's political landscape, that's no small feat. So, guys, if you like this breakdown, kindly give it a thumbs up and also share this video with your friends and family. And do follow us and subscribe us for more such amazing political news. And I will see you in the next video.